But in that 5 years before you reached out and sort of spoke to me, was there a point where you thought about kind of packing it all in?
So really felt like we'd plateaued at that point. I found managing the team really hard and stressful, didn't have any proper visibility, we didn't have any automations in place, we had a very leaky bucket. It's like, this is not sustainable going forward. And that's when we got in touch with you, really.
Nice.
I very clearly remember a couple of holidays. One was Santorini for a friend's wedding, on the morning of the wedding, and I had an urgent case that needed attention, and I'm, sat in the hotel. Okay, admittedly on the terrace with a sea view, but that is not what I wanted to be doing on that morning, was doing mortgage work. And I remember thinking back then, there has to be a better way for this.
What's SAS worth to you per year to your business, do you think?
Yeah, so I was looking at the numbers. I think with the tech and the techniques and tactics that we've implemented, we've added.
Howdy team, welcome to another episode of Scaling Stories on the Systemize and Scale podcast. This is the opportunity where we put these videos onto YouTube as well, but we take and spotlight one of our clients, someone that we've worked with, someone that we also think will bring you a huge amount of value based on their own business journey within the mortgage industry, within the business space. So Darryl, welcome to Scaling Stories.
Hi Gary, thanks for having me.
That's all right, mate. We'll dive straight in, but in one line, what would you say has changed most for you this year? Where's your business currently at? What's been the biggest shift for you? To give people context, and then we'll go backwards.
Yeah, so we've been working together just under a year. When I came to you, we actually had a system issue, and that's what I wanted to fix. What's ended up happening is we've had a massive mindset change, and our ambitions have changed massively. Our ambitions are much higher now. So that mindset change is definitely the biggest thing that's happened.
What specifically in the mindset shift has changed then in that case?
So I was running very small mortgage brokerage previously. We'd taken on an advisor. We were having systems issues, visibility issues, couldn't really see what business we had in the pipeline. So I knew we had a bottleneck there. We needed to fix that system issue. And I thought we'd fix that. I'd buy a little bit of time back and happy days. What actually happened was when we started working with you, we fixed that system issue. And then it opened my eyes to how much opportunity is out there and how much we were leaving on the table. So we've really started to capitalize on some of that now, and our ambitions have, more than doubled. We've, put in a lot of processes. We're taking advantage of a lot of the tactics and techniques that you speak about, and that lots of the other guys in SAS are doing.
Got you. So if I'm reading between the lines on that, essentially, for want of a better word, you had a bit of a leaky bucket. Your aspirations now, the bucket is kind of not leaking any longer. The business has grown from taking what you were already doing and just making it better before putting new stuff in. Is that, if I understood that correct?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, we had a massively leaky bucket. We've plugged most of that bucket now, and so our retention is far higher for clients that we already have in the system. But I'd never really opened my eyes to how much opportunity there is to go out and get new clients. So we're just starting to implement some of that now.
Amazing. Okay, that's cool. Okay, love that. Let's go back to the beginning then, just to give people a little bit of a context, because I always like finding out, like, what were you doing before you were advising?
Oh, I've got a very checkered history. I started life as an accountant. Back in 2007, I fell in love with property back then, so I've been investing in buy-to-lets, built a portfolio around that. I love anything to do with property. Fell out of love with accountancy, always wanted to fly, had the opportunity to join British Airways on their cadet program back in 2013. So jumped in with that. So I've been with BA just over a decade now. Love the flying, but it's a lot of time away from home, young family. And fast forward, March 2020, COVID hits, flights stop. I have a lot of time, and it was actually my mortgage broker at the time, absolute legend, Dilip. He really pushed me to say, hey, look, you've got the accountancy background, you've got the property knowledge. Why don't you do just CMAP and go from there, start doing mortgage broking. When I first started in March 2020, I honestly thought it would be very much a sideline. I was hoping for one mortgage a month. That was my goal. That very quickly picked up. and developed really into a full-time business, full-time role. Love the flexibility of it. Love how much opportunity there is. We can, we can really build something here. So started doing that. We got to sort of summer last year. Really was when we got in touch with you. Really felt like we'd plateaued at that point. We had, an okay process. Our sales were okay. I was doing okay numbers. We'd taken on another advisor. I found managing the team really hard and stressful. Didn't have any proper visibility. We didn't have any automations in place. We had a very leaky bucket. And that's when we got in touch with you really to see about taking on a CRM system that could solve some of these problems, buy us back a little bit of time.
Got you. So March 2020 was when you started. Christ, that was the hardest time. Things really kicked off that year for sure, but they haven't stopped since. But it was
No,
easier. It was easier before that, Darryl. So the fact that you've survived now 6 years is outstanding. Didn't reach out for help in your business until 5 years into your journey. But in that 5 years before you reached out and sort of spoke to me, was there a point where you thought about kind of packing it all in, or something along those kind of lines?
absolutely, yeah, multiple points. I very clearly remember a couple of holidays. One was Santorini for a friend's wedding, and this was when it was just me advising. And on the morning of the wedding, and I had an urgent case that needed attention, and I'm sat in the hotel. Okay, admittedly on the terrace with a sea view, but that is not what I wanted to be doing on that morning. Was doing mortgage work, and I remember thinking back then, there has to be a better way for this. Like, this is not sustainable going forward. I think I have quite a high threshold for working hard, and that's fine. I'm happy with that. But when that starts to impact on family life, that's when it becomes a problem. So I knew then that we needed to systemize a little bit, to put processes in place, and maybe start to grow the team out a little bit so that I could remove myself from the day-to-day operations. That took a little while to really get going. As a solo advisor, we're not born with how to grow a business, how to run a business. It's really hard work. We try to, we sort of bumbled through really, and it got to last summer 2025. I had a 6-month-old little girl, and that was when it really hit home that I have to be really very deliberate with my time now. I can work hard, that's fine. I don't mind doing that, but I'm not doing that at the expense of missing time out with Georgia. So that's when things got really real, and I was like, no, we have to start seeing some results now. We've tried to do this on our own, and actually we're going to need systems in place. We're going to need processes in place, and I need to be surrounded by people that have done this. And I was quite happy at that point to say, I don't know all the answers here. I'm going to need a little bit of help and someone to help guide me on that journey.
Understood. And between that 5 year point, then you said you were on that holiday in Santorini. What were some of the moves that you made after that? You were a solo advisor then. When did you take on your first PA, admin? What was your kind of hiring situation like up until the point where we started working together?
So probably similar to a lot of advisors, my wife was my first admin, my first hire. So that
Yeah.
was January 2022.
Okay. So almost 2 years.
Almost 2 years,
Yeah.
and that was great. That did take a lot of admin off my plate, but it didn't help when we go on holiday, unless I want to go on holiday on my own and leave her
Yes.
behind, and that has not gone down well. So it was me and my wife for a little bit, and then our next hire actually was a protection only advisor. That was January 2024. So just over 2 years, Tim's been with us, and that was really to take some of the protection advice off of from me, buy me a little bit more time back to spend on the business.
Okay, so we talk about that quite a lot in SAS. What was the mindset, and what made you want to not carry on doing the protection yourself? Because the options are you go and do what you've done, which is bring in a protection only advisor, or you potentially go and bring in another admin who only does the protection, or you potentially bring in another mortgage advisor and you do the protection, or you bring in another mortgage advisor and you have them do. There's loads of different options. So why did you choose the option of, actually, I'm going to focus on the mortgages, I'm going to let my wife do the admin, and I'm going to let Tim do the protection? Why did you choose to separate it?
Yeah, there's loads of ways we could have gone. I love doing the mortgages. So I would happily spend more time doing mortgages. The protection, really important, but I don't love it as much. And I don't, I just, and it shows in the numbers. I don't sell it as well as I sell mortgages. So I knew if I bought in a protection advisor, he would write better numbers than what I can write myself, and I can focus on what I love doing.
Yeah, it makes sense, which is what we talk a lot about in terms of everything, isn't it? You focus on your superpowers, you build a business so you can do more of the things you love, not less. And you hire people who are better than you in the areas that you're weakest. You know, that's the skill set. So, okay. So that was really cool then. So how did the business look after you had, and I know exactly, hopefully people are listening to this because I'm resonating with it. We've all been on a holiday where we've getting on a plane and an offer falls out of bed.
Yeah.
We've all, had that experience. Well, I didn't actually recruit my wife. Me and my wife would probably kill each other if we tried to work together. Um, but we've all had that scenario whereby, you're thinking about making it work and taking on that first employee. What was the difference between having your wife and having Tim before, a year ago that we started doing stuff together?
So when it was Tim and my wife, it was fine, and we were actually doing pretty good numbers. We were quite happy with it, but there was still that bottleneck when we go on holiday with mortgages, with the admin,
Yeah.
and I just got to the point. I was like, I need a break, and I need to put systems in place so that I can actually take time away from the business.
Yes.
And actually, if we want to grow this more, I need to spend a little bit more time on the business. So that's when we decided to then take on a mortgage advisor then as well, that I could pass some of the some of the cases that I don't love doing. I don't love the adverse credit stuff. So we found a broker that's particularly good with those sorts of cases.
Nice.
And then we can, rather than losing those cases or passing them out of the business, we can keep them within the business, and that advisor can look after them as well as picking up any spare capacity from my cases or covering for me when I'm away.
So on that point, you were a team of four, a protection advisor, mortgage advisor, and your wife doing some admin. What time were we at this point in time? What sort of month and year is that?
So this is the start of 2025.
Okay. And did you take on the two advisors employed or self-employed?
They were both self-employed.
Okay. So that helps from us. I did exactly the same thing. It helps from a cash flow perspective. There's a little bit of an element of risk, de-risking kind of that side of things. And that makes it really easy to do. So, okay, beginning of 2025, that's where we're at. At that point, then, what were you feeling was kind of messy in the business that you really needed to double down and fix?
So what was happening then was we were doing okay numbers. Everyone was working away. I quickly felt then I had no visibility of the business. I had no idea what the protection advisor was working on. I had no idea what the mortgage advisor was working on. Clients were slipping between the cracks. We were missing clients that we'd done agreements in principle for. We weren't following up with them. We had a really leaky bucket. We lost an introducer because we couldn't give them real-time data on their clients they'd referred to us. So that was when we started to feel the pain that, okay, actually, this is impacting our business now by not having this data, by not having these systems in place.
Yeah, get it. And it's so important. I say that all the time to people. When I had 17 advisors during the course of COVID, but we were generating sometimes 100 leads a week at one point during COVID. And if you have a process, you systemize that process, you can bring in people to manage the system that deliver the process, thus giving customers great outcomes. But if it's all disjointed or it's all on Excel spreadsheets or everybody's working in a slightly different way, like you say, you have no oversight. And that feels like chaos, right?
Absolutely, yeah, like chaos. I was spending more time just trying to, keep track of data and cobble, spreadsheets together and things. Yeah, not a fun time at all.
Yeah. And you're directly authorized now. What was your network journey like over those first 5 years?
Yeah, so I mentioned Dilip, my previous mortgage advisor. He was part
Yeah.
of AFB partnership. Really nice small network, only about 50 advisors, based in Maidenhead. That was a lovely place to work. I worked under Dilip for a couple of years.
Yep.
The owner of the network was retiring around the time Consumer Duty came in. He sold the network to HL Partnership. So most of us transitioned over to HL Partnership. That was summer 23. We did a couple of years at HL Partnership. That was pretty good. They got our processes up to scratch. That was fine. But then around the time we started working together, when I started to see how much opportunity was out there, we took the decision that actually directly authorized would better suit us, allow us to grow in the way we want to grow, to start offering bridging commercial, and give us a little bit more flexibility over the systems we use and the way that we work.
Got it. Okay. Yeah, because you're obviously early into that directly authorized journey, but there's no looking back already. Is that right?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. No, loving the flexibility, loving the systems we can use. It's this is going to be game changing for us. Really is.
Nice. Okay. So obviously we work with a lot of directly authorized firms as well. You've got Carl and Alex and Mo and Paul, and it seems to be a route that quite a lot of people are choosing, providing you've got the support and you've got the knowledge and understanding, which you had realistically almost 6 years worth of industry knowledge before you've chosen to go the DA route. So you've got a good solid foundation there to then run an autonomous business, shall we say. So, okay. So recap for everybody, March 2025 at a point, team of 4, leaky bucket, living in chaos, no real systems in place, wanted a bit more control over everything. What were some of the first things that you felt really shifted the business from chaos to control, Darryl, once you realized active CRM was the thing that can to make those changes for you?
Yes, we looked at a couple of CRM systems. Active was different because you'd developed that and you had a brokerage, so you knew the exact journey that clients go through a brokerage. You had a templated version which we leaned on heavily. We obviously tweaked it to suit our processes. So we looked at Active. That met what we needed basically, so we implemented that and I doubled down on active CRM massively. I don't know if you remember, I think I joined in the June. I think by the July quarterly event we had most of our systems in place already. We'd mapped out the entire customer journey. It's a great exercise to do, and whether you do it with active or something else, like actually sitting down and mapping out, okay, what journey does my customer go on from when they first contact us through to when they get their keys, and then beyond that when we're contacting them for a remortgage. That really focuses your mind. And by mapping that journey out, we managed to get all the stages, all the automations that we needed into active CRM, which gave us real-time data visibility tracking. The automations were I think a lot of the revenue increase we've experienced is just through the automations and plugging that leaky bucket. We don't lose that many clients now after we've done an agreement in principle for them, because the system just keeps in touch. We don't have time to keep in touch with them every week, but the system does. So yeah, definitely implementing all of that gave us real-time data visibility tracking, and that just brought me so much more time back to then go and write a little bit more business, but also just to focus on other areas of the business.
Yeah, I love that. So the system effectively increased your capacity by utilizing tech. Now, for someone who has no idea about automations or think that would be amazing if people could be followed up with after AIP, to bring those clients back through an automation, like what are 1 or 2 or 3 key automations that you've put in place that you think plugged your leaky bucket?
Okay, so yeah, there's a couple of really key ones. When a new client contacts us, we put them straight onto the CRM system. They then get a sequence of welcome emails. I think it's 4 or 5 emails over the course of about 2 weeks. It sounds a lot. It's really not. Most products you sign up for, you'll notice it. You will get welcome emails. You'll get maybe 10 emails over a month's period. That sequence is designed to reinforce to the client who we are, what we do, why we can help them, and how we can help them. It builds trust and authority really, really quickly, and it's got a couple of calls to action in there to book their first strategy call with us. Most clients now, we'll have a quick call with them. They might drop us a message or something on WhatsApp or an email. We'll add them to the system. They then, off the back of those emails, end up booking directly into our calendar. So that's great. We can see how many clients we're converting at the front end. We used to lose a lot of clients after we did an agreement in principle, and I would wake up in the middle of the night thinking, "Oh, what happened to John Smith? I did an AIP for him 2 months ago. I wonder what he's doing." Make a note on my phone, a reminder the next day, give John a call. He's gone with the estate agent's broker. That was really typical. We lost maybe half of our clients like that. It was it was really leaky. Now the system will keep in touch with the client every 2 weeks. Basically, it will send a slightly different message to them, just keeping in touch, just keeping them warm, reminding them that we're here for them when they need us. We now, we probably lose less than 10% of clients after we've done an agreement in principle for them now.
Love that.
And what's really great is we can tailor all of these communications. Every communication is slightly different, and the clients genuinely, they do think it's us actually getting in touch with them. Most clients do respond to those messages, so that's really good. And then right at the back end is the early repayment charge automation. So once we've completed the mortgage for them, we put their ERC date on the system. The system automatically emails them now 6 months before their offer expires, asking them to book in a call with us. That means all of that manual follow-up is just done by the system. So much of that can be automated now, and it just buys back so much time. These are only 5-minute tasks, but that's if you remember to do them. And when you've got 20, 30, 40 clients per month, those 5 minutes add up really quickly.
Yeah, love that. And for those of you, the outset one, we're related to the initial embedding the authority and trust with your ideal client. I call that a 14-day lead sequence. It's one of the things that we taught at Battle Plan, our quarterly events in 2025. And literally you ran with that straight away, didn't you, Darryl? You got it done within absolutely no time at all. Well, another one as well I think would be cool was I created some email templates, didn't I, for my brokerage, which were protection related. You put them into the system, and what did you message me saying happened off of the back of putting that into the automations?
The protection email sequence is brilliant. So
Yeah.
that goes out at a certain stage in the customer journey. It sends, again, it's designed to build authority and trust around insurance and why they need it. And it includes some real life client case studies in there. It's got a call to action to book directly into our protection advisor's calendar. And I remember waking up and Tim, our protection advisor, has messaged me saying, "Hi, Darryl, I've got these people that have booked into my calendar. I have no idea who they are. Should I delete them?" I'm like, no, Tim, the system is working as it's designed. These clients are proactively booking in with you because they want to discuss protection now. So yeah, that's been really great. Rather than us chasing now for that protection meeting, clients just book in off the back of that that sequence of emails.
Yeah, I love that. It was funny. I love that piece. I just love hearing the little bits when it kind of works. And you were our guinea pig, shall we say, our test case, because one of the things that Chris, my systems and AI and automations guy, did was Darryl referenced that at AIP stage, every couple of weeks, it's sending a slightly different message. That's because Chris basically put an AI in between the 2 weekly points so that every couple of weeks the AI customizes the email that goes out to that person sat at AIP, thus making it feel like a slightly different message, not automated, not AI. And now, obviously, when we did that for Darryl, we basically then rolled it out to all of our other clients in Systemize and Scale to help them that work. So, yeah, Darryl is what in terms of just for those that are there, because I know some people are listening to this and their ears are already steaming. Out of a score of 10, what would you give yourself in relation to tech? Because are you quite technically minded from that perspective?
I probably am more technically minded,
Yep.
and I naturally gravitate towards that. So that's the first thing I
Okay.
go to try and implement and fix.
Yep.
A score out of 10 is really hard. I think the active CRM system is vast, and I feel like I think I'm through the academy learning sessions and the recorded sessions you have. I think I'm only halfway through it. There is so much stuff we have not implemented yet. The stuff I've spoken about is the low hanging fruit. That's all the really easy wins. There's loads more stuff that we need to implement still.
Got it.
So I would say we're maybe 6 or 7 out of 10 on the tech at the moment. There's more we can do for sure.
Yeah, okay, that's cool. And yeah, that's, there's an academy, there's the training pieces, there's the weekly coaching, there's Chris doing one-to-one pieces. Like, we hold your hand through the whole entire thing from that perspective. And it's interesting to hear, that you're only 6 to 7 points out of it. Oh my God, my kids are now ringing in my ears going, 6, 7. What is this bloody shit that we've created through social media and stuff? Um, it's like a subconscious trigger that gets you when you mention it. You're almost trying to stop myself saying it. But yeah, it's good that you're a year in to having a CRM system, and there's still so much more that we can put into and do. So okay, cool. So hopefully everybody listening and watching has got some practical tips from that that you can put into your business. Let's just get kind of a scan on your business then now. So a year into working with us, 6 years into your journey as a business, what is written versus banked looking like? What's your average fee? How's your protection conversion now? What's that all kind of sitting at in terms of your business now?
Yeah, so I think the year before we joined you, we were at around 118K written for the year.
Yeah.
We've just checked the books. I think we've just at 246,000. So I think we've
Mega
added,
work.
yeah, I think we've more than doubled in the last year.
Yeah.
That's the only year we've doubled. I'm not putting that all down to you, Gary, but
You've
we've
done the
worked with,
work, mate.
and it's only the one year that we've ever doubled. So I think that says a lot for the power of systems and tech, actually. Um, and like I said back at the start, our ambitions are just growing now. Actually, you've opened our eyes because I can see what everyone else is doing in SAS as well. So I can see what's working, and there's guys that are way ahead of me, and I can see what possibility and what opportunities out there now. So we've got quite big ambitions. We're hoping to double again this year. Um, we've invested quite a lot in the team now. So we've had a couple of new joiners this month. We've got a new advisor starting next month. We've got the tech in place. We've got a really good foundation for growth now. In terms of average fees, we're probably on the slightly lower side on the fees. We're probably about 299 at the moment. We work a lot with aircrew, and at the moment we've got a promotion where we're waiving most of the fees for aircrew to really try and embed our, to build some
Niche.
market share
Yeah.
there. So we're probably about 299 on fees. Our protection conversions is a work in progress at the moment. I think we're probably around 50%, which I think compared to the industry is actually okay, is
Yep.
on the better side, but there's way more we can do on that. So that's a big focus for us internally for May, actually.
Got you. Well, that's a big focus with us anyway, because we've now got Rob on my brokerage team, who's obviously an absolute protection beast.
Yeah.
So we've got a big element of that coming for you guys in relation to that, to enhance that protection sales. Because like you say, you've plugged to the leaky bucket from a protection sense. If you can now just increase protection conversions, increase protection premium, put another 50 quid on your broker fee, if you can increase the number of appointments that convert, that's just making the business more efficient. It's working smarter, not harder. Where
Yeah.
would you say what would you say in compared to a year ago doing the systems? What would you say percentage increase would be roughly from where it was a year ago to now having the technology and seeing that kind of doing everything that you need it to do?
So our written business actually is doubled. So that's
Yeah.
100%. And
Well, what conversion percentage I mean. So if if you were getting 10 leads, but you had a leaky bucket, you weren't following up after AIP, all of that kind of stuff. Where do you see that conversion now
we were
in relation
probably
to that?
around we were probably around 40 to 50% conversion previously, and I think we're
Yeah.
around 80% now.
So doubled that as well. Amazing, which is why the turnover's doubled. Simple numbers.
Yes. Yeah.
Um, okay, love that. So, if someone's listening to this and you were going to tell them to try one thing next week, what would you say?
Honestly, the follow up has been game changing for us. So
Yeah,
whether that's at AIP or after the client first contacts you, a CRM system makes that infinitely easier.
yeah,
But you don't need a CRM system. You could just have it all diarized. You could have an admin do this. Everyone focuses on going out winning new leads, and that's great. But actually, the cost and the effort to acquire a new lead is so much higher than just plugging your leaky bucket and keeping what you've already got. So, the power is in the follow up. So, diarize those follow ups after AIP. After every client contacts you, follow up with them after a week, and you will notice an increase in conversion.
love that 100%. And for those of you who want to put a number on it, I would be urging you to have at least 10 to 15 touch points over a period of time following chasing for documents, following the new lead, following the AIP, whatever it is. Touch points is email, SMS, WhatsApp, phone calls, most definitely at least a quarter or to two-thirds of those need to be phone calls. And it'll be amazing how many, if you did a touch point now over the course of the next week, if you just left it to week 3 or week 4, amazingly, some of those will pick up. Maybe they're just going through a busy period, something like that. But I see it all too often in this industry. People just follow up once or twice. Oh, no, they're not interested. No, they're just busy. They've got life. And the person who follows up will win the fortune effectively. So, yeah, I love that tip, Darryl. That's really good. So you referenced there, obviously, having had your daughter earlier on and wanting to shift things. How's life and work different now in terms of time, stress, spending time with Georgia, all that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I mean, I won't pretend I've got the perfect balance. I haven't. It's
None of us
still
do.
massively a work in progress.
Yeah.
I spend a lot more time on the business now than I did previously. I'm still trying to find that right balance. I feel like we're growing really quickly at the moment, and we've invested a lot in tech and team and office. Um, there's just a lot of demands on my time. I just find I have to be really very deliberate now about where I spend my time and make sure that I'm
Yeah.
getting the most value out of it. That has got much easier now, and yeah, we've got I've sort of discussed this with the family. I've spent a lot of time on the business, and I'm still spending a lot of time on the business. By the end of this year, I have to be able to go away and switch the phone off for a week, and everyone has to solve their own problems. And we're putting the processes in place. We've got the team in place. We're putting the education in place. That's our goal by the end of this year.
Love that. That's a really good goal to have as well, which you've beaten one of my last questions, which is in 12 months, what are we celebrating? Well, in 6 to 8 months at the time of recording, maybe in 12 months, when you go on your holiday in 2027, you're going to go away for a week with the phone off and not have to have the team chasing you or anything else. So that's absolutely awesome. Ballpark, what's SAS worth to you per year to your business, do you think?
Yeah, so I was looking at the numbers. I think with the tech and the techniques and tactics that we've implemented, we've added 10K per month.
Yeah. So 120K per year, roughly, just from being part of it. And, that's awesome from a tech and also the training and the knowledge and what you didn't know, you didn't know what you didn't know a year ago and being in the community and in the environment and everything else. But cannot take away anything from the point of view that you've done the work, you've asked the questions, you've been on calls with Chris, you've leveraged Anna, you've reached out to me. Like, we can lead the horse to water, but we can't force it to drink. And you've just been an absolute game changer, and you've done the real hard work of putting it all into practice. So we can't, as you said, we can't take full credit, because if you don't do the work, then we don't get the result either.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I honestly think I've worked harder than I've ever worked in the last year. So it's not
Yeah.
that, SAS is not a you turn up and you get results the next day. Like, you turn up, but there is a plan, there's a tried and tested method. I don't know how many other brokers are you working with now? Is it 50, 60 other brokers?
Yeah,
Like,
50 something along those kind of lines.
there's a lot of data out there, and there's a lot of people with experience that have tried everything that I'm thinking of trying, and they have the results and they know what works, what doesn't work. If I can get from A to B quicker now by leveraging their experience, that's the path we're taking. It's not easy, but there's a map there now. There's a path and there's a process.
Exactly that. It's I'm saying this all the time at the moment. It's like at school, we're taught not to cheat, but the whole game of business is basically cheating. Like, don't try
Yes,
and figure it out yourself. Just ask someone who's already been there, already done it. Our community shares free willingly, don't they? Like, no one holds anything back. If you ask a question, you get the tactics, you get the steps, you get the good, the bad, and the ugly. Would that be fair and right to say?
absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah, we've crafted that community really well, and it's a credit to everybody who is part of SAS. And yeah, Darryl, me and the team, we get people on here that we like to particularly spotlight and have got value to bring to the audience, and we love working with you. And you said your next step is going to be to double down on obviously the marketing side of things. Are we going to be seeing you doing content in your full-blown BA digs, as I've been calling you out on doing for the last 6 months, in your aeroplane cockpit?
It's a work in progress. We've got a social media person now. I'm not flying as much as I was actually, but yeah, watch this space. There will be some content coming out.
Yeah, I love that. So Darryl's got a niche. He's got it in aircrew. He created an aircrew guide as well. You've smashed that piece out as well, which is a big thing that we obviously talk about. You want to double down on that niche now, leveraging your brand and experience. There's loads, if not hundreds of thousands of aircrew in the UK that you can leverage in. So yeah, I'm very sure with where you've been, you're going to easily achieve where you're going. So thank you very much indeed, mate. Really appreciate your time.
Thank you, Gary. We're very excited for the future.
Take care, bud.